When it comes to handhelds that are not the Steam Deck, you might be wondering which OS is better, Bazzite or SteamOS. And first off, for similarities, when it comes to pure, the pure gaming perspective, the pure gaming feel, they're going to be almost identical. Um, when it comes to actual gaming, there's going to be very, very little difference between them. Now, I'm not in the true uh, Steam gaming mode that it has, just because it will stop me from recording if I do switch to that. But so you can see from here that it's when you boot up, whether it's SteamOS or Bazzite, you're gonna be going into like the very very similar interface on either of them. So when it comes to that, they're pretty similar, and also the fact that both are immutable distros. However, there's a little bit of a difference, and that kind of goes into what we're gonna talk about. So that's the similarity. Really, that's pretty much the similarity between them. When it comes to the differences, there are quite a few. So I'm gonna exit big picture here, and the actual gaming mode, it would be exit to desktop, and you can see that right here. So, and this is kind of what the biggest difference is the desktop itself. One is going to be Fedora, so Bazzite is based off of Fedora, and SteamOS is based off of Arc. So both being immutable, however, Fedora or Bazzite is going to give you a lot more flexibility than what SteamOS will give you. You have homebrew out of the box, so you're not just limited to what FlatHub has to offer. So if you're not familiar with Linux, so there are like several ways you can install apps, several sources. Okay, one of them is called FlatHub, and it has its library of apps, right? However, that's just one source. So imagine if I, in your operating system, I limited you to one source or one or two sources of apps. Yes, they might have most apps out there, but they're not going to necessarily have all. So when it comes to the actual desktop experience of them, Bazzite has a lot of a better desktop experience because it's a lot less limited, even though both are immutable. So just wanted to point that out for the desktop experience itself. Also, when it comes to dual booting, which is something a lot of people probably want to care about when it comes to putting Linux on their handheld, Bazzite again kind of wins with that because dual booting is very, very easy. When you go into the installer setup, it's very straightforward to set up dual boot alongside with Windows. No issues at all. It's just, I think, a click of one or two buttons, and not complicated at all. You don't need to do any advanced setup. Anything complicated, yes, might be done on the Windows side, meaning shrinking your partition and that stuff. But when it comes to the actual installer, it's very straightforward. And I don't think SteamOS has that native compatibility built in for dual booting. It's possible, but it's not as straightforward. And another difference is support for other handhelds. So SteamOS obviously being for the Steam Deck, whereas Bazzite is kind of open to whatever you install it on. So one big point of that is the handheld. So let me open it up. I believe this button. I can open it up through here as well, but I always forget which button it is. So this kind of brings up, if you've used, I'm on the ROG Ally. If you've used this on Windows, this actually might look a little bit familiar. You can set the different modes here. I don't know what that is. Okay, so you can set the different modes. You can set, lighting. You can set, the back buttons on your ROG Ally. All that stuff you can set through here. This is really, really nice. Something that Bazzite gives that SteamOS does not. Now, however, SteamOS is going to be maintained by Valve. So it's a great company. They've stuck by their OS for a long, long time. I actually installed SteamOS on my desktop like a long time ago. I don't remember, years ago, way before the Steam Deck and all that stuff. So they've stuck by their OS for a very long time. They're very dedicated working on it. So you're definitely getting that solid commitment to it. Whereas Bazzite is developed by a community, which now, not to belittle in any way, by the way. I mean, it's great, and I don't think support is going anywhere anytime soon for either of them. So I didn't want to say that in a sense to belittle either, but just wanted to point that out as well. So for gaming itself, uh, on for yeah, gaming itself, it's very similar experiences. You're gonna boot right up into Steam anyways. So that feel is very similar. But if you're looking for that desktop experience as well, there is a little bit of a difference, and I would suggest Bazzite over SteamOS. And for the handheld daemon as well, that's another thing that I just showed you. Uh, that comes with Bazzite. I'm not sure how you would control a lot of these things on SteamOS. It may not be as straightforward. Uh, and in general, the limitation, I mean, to me, being a Linux user, and I did sometimes use my handheld as a desktop as well when traveling. So the limitation is kind of, to FlatHub. I think one other source, I don't remember which one, is kind of a bummer. So here not being limited as much while still being immutable to give you that stable experience is a huge plus. So for other handhelds like the ROG Ally and the Legion Go, I would definitely suggest Baza over SteamOS.